Hello everybody and welcome to the Character Collection Series Part 3. This time we are going to unlock all characters in GX World. First though, we had to unlock the world itself by summoning warriors 10 times. I allowed myself to do this off screen. With the world we get our first character, Jaden Yuki, the first of many characters and the first of 3 Jadens. This video is going to be long. We have 2 hidden characters to take care of, but 2 are better than 5 and their requirements are easier than banishing 300 cards. The first one to get is Chazz, who is not hidden. Jaden gets a comeback victory against Chazz. We summon 3 Thunder types and activate 5 trap cards. This is easy as it should be, as he is mandatory for staging up GX World later. Chazz likes his Ojamas and Ojama Country, which swaps all monsters' attack and defense points. That can become a problem, but most of the time it isn't one. We have achieved many comeback wins up to this point and should not be worried about that. Our Thunder monster supply is shallow, but we can make do. And while defeating standard duelists, I made sure to activate Spike Shield 5 times in total. When going for Scud, I said that I wanted to get him out of the way, so why am I not unlocking the 2 hidden characters in this world right away? For the longest time, I did not want to stage GX World up to 5 or higher because I wanted Jaden to be the only one that spawns in every now and then. The reason is that I wanted chances of getting a Thunder Giant dropped without using gate keys. When staging up, Chazz and the others decreased Jaden's spawn rate. The same would be true if hidden characters were part of it. Jaden would go from 100% to 33%. But after staging up all other worlds to 6, I gave in and decided to go for my emergency plan. I'll reveal it later, but for now it is relevant that I staged up GX World at all, and therefore I'm free to unlock those characters left and right, including the 2 hidden dudes. Those are of course Aster Phoenix and Bastion Misawa. The duel's over, or as good as over anyways, and it was as easy as it was predicted. It wasn't that bad, as you have seen. Jaden was our starting character and we are unlocking Chazz right now. That leaves 15 characters to unlock in this world and this video. Still a lot, but only 2/3 of the DM world characters. That were 24. This video should be a little shorter than part 1, but long enough for my voice to fade at the end of this. Not your problem though. Next, I went for Tyranno Hassleberry. Jaden has to summon 2 level 7 or higher monsters in one duel against him. He has to fusion summon against Hassleberry. We destroy 3 monsters in one duel against Hassleberry. We play a field spell card against Hassleberry, and Jaden gets a comeback victory against level 30 Hassleberry. As he is not in the world right now, I go to the gate. There is a reason as to why I want him next. Jim Cook is in the world right now, and with Hassleberry we can unlock him. The alternative would be to duel Jimbo with anyone to make him disappear so another character can come in that I may or may not already have. Since this is sort of inconsistent and luck dependent and I want to unlock all characters eventually, I get one character from the gate to work on another one without using keys. About the difficulty of his missions and the challenge he poses as an opponent, the missions are fine for the most part. The level 30 comeback sucks just a little, but is far away from being impossible. I do not particularly like to go up against Hassleberry at level 30, but I can deal with him if I have to. Besides that, I like it to be a matter of getting cards that we need. It's always a matter of that, really. Right now we are waiting for a field spell card and want to fusion summon a second time to get another level 7 or higher onto the field. 3 monsters have been destroyed, and after this duel we hopefully only have the level 30 comeback left. Yes, the field spell weakens my monster, but that doesn't matter as it is still strong enough for the lack of field spells. I had to use what I found. Okay, duel number 2, which is not going to be as easy but should finish faster. In between duels the deck has been changed, of course, to be more efficient in getting the comeback victory. When you see my 3-card extra deck in just a second, you realize that this one has been done before I went ham in 5D's world. We at this point have Kachikochi Dragon, Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon, and Gaia Saber the Lightning Shadow. Not ideal, but okay. I do not need to go into extra deck monsters all the time, which is one reason I prefer Duel Links over Master Duel. But when I do summon a guy from the extra deck, stuff is getting serious. Here it was not needed, although Dark Rap and Kachi would have been fine. The only misplay for me would have been Gaia Saber, as it needs 3 monsters and does not inflict more damage than all 3 of them. My rejection of extra deck summons stems from old school Yu-Gi-Oh! When we only had a fusion deck and only bad fusion monsters. And most decks did not play a fusion deck at all. Most of my real life decks do not have a full extra deck or don't play one at all. To be continued, as Jim is up next. Hassleberry has to put in a lot of work against him, basically doing all of it, all of the 5 missions, and he has to beat level 30 Jimbo. He has to use a field spell card and 3 more spells in any duel, so that he has 4 spell card activations in a single duel against anyone. Summons 2 level 6 or higher dinos in one duel against Jimbo, and we collect 5 rocks. Was it 5 rocks? Yeah, it was 5 rocks. That sounds fairly simple. Right now we only have a single high level dino, Ultimate Tyranno, from Tyranno Hassleberry's starter deck. So let's blast 2 card tickets, shall we? I still have some rare ones left, and can use them on Dark Triceratops. Is that a waste? Maybe, as we can summon Ultimate Tyranno twice in one duel with ease. I am going to show something like that against Yubel, except I'm summoning Elemental Hero Neos. 1 copy 3 times in one duel. However, the mission can be solved in a less stressful way when having something like Dark Triceratops. With both copies of it and Ultimate Tyranno, we have 3 viable monsters, of which we only need to summon 2. By spending the tickets, this mission should be cleared faster and with less annoyance, which makes the tickets worthwhile in my book. In the world, Jimbo is at level 20, which is probably the worst case scenario. Level 30 is a mission, level 10 can be used for those easy missions, but level 20 is what I call suboptimal. We can try though. And since you see the duel in this video, we managed to win, or at least contribute to the missions. If not, yours truly would not have left this duel in. So while waiting for Dark Triceratops and more spells, I can finish talking about my approach on extra deck monsters. I grew up not relying on them, and nowadays don't summon a whole lot of them. Take my Dark Magician deck. It has Borreload Dragon and some other viable dudes, but the only one I summon on a regular basis is Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, if at all. Most of the time I actually don't summon anything from the extra deck and rely on my Dark Magicians and stuff, on my main deck monsters. There are exceptions, like always, like Mr. Shadol deck here. My Shadol deck, reading is hard, summons a bunch, and even my basic as balls Synchron deck goes through 2/3 of his extra deck in turn 1. In Duel Links, when playing against CPUs, I typically avoid my extra deck and keep the guys for emergencies. Imagine blasting a Dark Rebellion early, it getting destroyed, and you later needing it specifically to out an opponent's monster. Happened to me, is not fun. Level 30 Jimbo showed up in the world. Once we're done here, there he is, and once we beat him, we unlocked him in 2 duels and without spending a single gate key. The extra deck, in my opinion, became too generic, too convoluted, and therefore too problematic. A lot of decks summon the same generic morons. In Master Duel, every end board I face looks the same, and I am a little sick of it. Not to say that Master Duel is bad or anything, I don't hate it, I just prefer Duel Links. Sometimes people do be like that. One final argument on extra deck monsters: a lot of them are expensive as heck and therefore basically out of reach for casual players like me. I would like to have certain cards, but I am not willing to burn hundreds of dollars, pounds, euros on that. The games, Duel Links, Master Duel and the likes, allow me to use at least some of the cards I don't own IRL, in real life. But enough of that. Back to business. The 3 rocks were obtained from 3 normal rarity card tickets, nothing too crazy. I think I even got 1 rock after a duel against Jimmy. And there he is. The next one to unlock can be horrible. Dr. Valiant Crowler. Jaden summons Elemental Hero Flame Wingman, inflicts 2000 points of effect damage at once, and gets a comeback victory, all against Crowler at level 30. We also summon 3 high-level monsters in one duel, and win 3 with machines only, a mission he shares with Syrus. This is going to be tense. The level 30 mission can, and probably should, be done in a single duel. One time I did 2 of them and dueled Crowler a second time for the 3rd mission. It's not ideal, but circumstances and opportunities lead the path I have to take in some of those duels. And don't worry, I'm going to show the deck later. In the meantime, let me explain what I'm trying to do. I am biding my time and wait for him to summon one of his 2 Ancient Gear Beasts. Then I fusion summon Flame Wingman. Once it's buffed up, it runs over Beast and deals Beast's attack points as effect damage. Before all of that, I make sure to take some damage for the comeback victory. Hence, I did not use the Source of Revealing Light right away. Once we ran over Ancient Gear Beast, we finish the duel in the same turn and should be golden. To make the summon of Flame Wingman more consistent, I usually play 2 Avian, 2 Bastinatrix, and 2 Polymerization. When he summons Ancient Gear Box, we can run into it with our monsters to take small amounts of damage against the 2000 defense wall. It is possible to trade Gaia Saber with Ancient Gear Beast once it is beefed up in just a few seconds, as he has 2 copies of Ancient Gear Beast, but the smart play is to wait on the fusion stuff. Therefore, time has finally come for swords in a few seconds. For one of Blair's missions, Jaden has to beat someone with Flame Wingman. If I wanted to do this against Crowler while still getting the comeback victory, I would have to get our life points a little lower before attacking. However, the Flame Wingman to 0 mission can be done against an easy standard duelist. Honestly, I don't know why I decided to trade Gaia Saber here instead of just doing what I normally would do after everything I just said. I think I wanted to get more attack points on board to ensure we can take his 3800 life points in one turn, and the beast would obliterate my small guys that I need to build my board. Floodgate Trap Hole would take care of the second beast I know he has. You can give me a misplay for not fusion summoning against the first beast, but it all worked out in the end. I'm going to show you the deck right now. And yeah, this time I made do with only one of each fusion card, Avian, Bastinatrix, and Polymerization. The deck besides that looks a lot like my standard deck, but I dropped Battle Tricks for Enemy Controller, Source of Revealing Light, and spells to boost Flame Wingman. The remaining Crowler missions were win 3 duels with machines only and summon 3 level 7 plus monsters in one duel. You can duel anyone and summon Red Eyes Black Dragon from Joey, Blue Eyes from DSOD Seto, and Neos from Jaden in one duel, which is the most free-to-play solution of them all. And 3 machine wins can be done at any time. For tactical reasons, we choose to go for a hidden character next. We can choose between Aster and Bastion, and I think I want to go with Aster first, or for Aster first. You meet his hidden requirement by summoning dark monsters 200 times, fusion summon twice in one duel, win 3 duels without level 5 or higher, and beat level 30 Aster. While we kick his butt, I want to talk about the missions. The 2 fusion summons in one were done against Hassleberry because I could. However, you, without the Hero Rising structure deck, might only have Flame Wingman. Play what you have, I guess. By this point in the video, I did not have playable synchros. After taking out Neos, I beat 3 random opponents without level 5 or higher monsters. Against Aster at level 30, I am playing with a 21 card deck because once his Clock Tower Prison is on the field, we won't inflict any more damage. By playing 1 more, I make sure that he runs out of cards before I do. That is the emergency plan, which in this case we didn't need. If you're curious, the additional card was D-Spell obtained from the dual quizzes, and in there for Clock Tower Prison, at least one of them. Wasn't this a simple one? Aster is needed for the Sartorius unlock, and I want to have his Destiny Hero Plasma to help me out with a certain 5Ds unlock. You can see a whole lot of Bastion's missions, which means he is next. He showed up after 50 low deck wins, which can be done in all the worlds. Low deck wins meaning you win with 3 or less cards left in your deck at the end of the duel. We have to win a duel with water, fire, wind and earth only and beat Bastion at level 30. The water win was achieved in Zeal or Zexel world with Reginald for one of the Quattro missions. I had Soulburner win a Vrain's duel with fire only. One of the Crow missions required winged beasts, a lot of which have the wind attribute. And a lot of my monsters are earth, so winning with only earth monsters was easy. You can set other tributes face down as long as you don't normal special or flip summon them or attack with them. The most dangerous cards Bastion plays are Magic Cylinder and Ryoku. The rest is manageable. When he activates Astral Barrier, Bastion plays assists in his own defeat. Once his life points are too low, that card is useless. For his hidden requirement, the 50 low deck wins, I had to go out of my way to get them. Dragging out the duels every once in a while was tedious yet necessary. Since I didn't want to check for the requirement after every single duel, I took notes each time I won with 3 or less cards left in my deck and only had to check for the requirement when I was done. When I had my 50. In fact, I took notes for every single hidden requirement and thus knew when I was done with them. Next up to unlock is, in fact, Sartorius. We collect 5 light monsters. Chazz summons Armed Dragon level 7 against him. Hassleberry summons Ultimate Tyranno and Aster summons Destiny Hero Plasma. Jaden beats him at level 30 with Elemental Hero Neos. While 4 separate duels sound like a lot, especially when having to complete a specific task, they should be fairly quick compared to some others in this series. Going for the most difficult Sartorius mission first, beating him at level 30. A skill that helps a lot is the lifetime skill Neos Tribute, which you can obtain by beating anyone with Elemental Hero Neos using Jaden. The skill makes it so you only need to tribute 1 monster to summon Neos, not the usual 2. When you search for Neos with different dimension capsule, you can get this mission done quickly. One of Jaden's other lifetime skills is obtained by summoning Neos 40 times. Therefore, I made sure to grab Neos Tribute as soon as possible, and have been using it a few times before, up to this point. Also, a Tribute Summon and a Light Summon each time help with Ishizu's and Meiko's hidden requirements, and that actually happens each time I summoned Neos. The Neos Tribute skill also comes in handy during one of the Yubel unlock missions, but that one is for later. With no capsule or Neos in sight, I have to wait and keep Sartorius alive until Neos can send him into space. It is easy to get carried away and forget about the duel's main objective. That happens to me a lot. Afterwards I can't help but be mad at myself. Then I just try again. Usually the second time around I get the stuff done. Ever since I have been using notes with all unlock missions for that character, having that list open while dueling helps keeping track of the objectives. As you may or may not know from my character collection series, Seamus plugging moment, I have a lot of lists regarding duel links, character unlock missions, lifetime skills, lifetime cards, and an experience chart, just to name a few. At one point I tried to share them on Reddit, but the moderators on Duel Links would not approve due to the lack of noticing my post. That one is still waiting for a moderator's eye to be seen. I thought that whole challenge would be something new, which it was, but barely anyone watched it. So it goes largely unnoticed. That's fine because it was not a good idea. The audio quality was even worse than this time around, and I only had bullet points instead of a full script. We finally got Neos and can move on to the next mission. Collecting 3 lights, by the way, was done without effort. After beating Sartorius and some standard legendary duelists, we had what we needed. Something else we need is Armed Dragon stuff. A rare ticket gives us level 7, which we could also get from the card trader's regular inventory, and level 5 can be grabbed with a super rare ticket. Alternatively, level Chazz up to the low 20s to get it that way. Or win a couple of duels against Chazz and get lucky with dual assessment card drops. Armed Dragon level 3 was one early Chazz level up reward. In case you're unfamiliar with Armed Dragon level 7, it is summoned by the effect of level 5 after destroying a monster in battle. A lot of people criticize the level up mechanic for being too situational and specific to a point of unplayability, and a lot of level monsters are indeed fairly underwhelming, in my opinion. but it was unique and they tried something new. There is no improvement without innovation and not all ideas can be bangers. In the meantime, Armed Dragon level 7 is about to hit the field in just a few seconds. And this will happen by turn 4, and that means we can finish the duel shortly after that. Without level monsters, some of the most recognizable cards in existence would never have seen the light of day, as for example Dark Armed Dragon is a retrained version of Armed Dragon level 7. Come to think of it, that's probably bad, remembering the terrors of Teledet back in the day. Back to business. Aster was unlocked to clear his mission with Sartorius, so let's get to it. He in fact is next. A quick reminder, the objective is to summon Destiny Hero Plasma. That dude is special summoned from your hand by sending 3 of your monsters from the field to the graveyard. It can equip itself with an opponent's monster, getting half of the attack added to its own while turning off opponent's monster effects on the field. That's pretty good for a card you get from Aster's starter deck basically for free. What's not good is the fact that I have to summon Plasma 30 times for a lifetime skill. 30 times! Different Dimension Capsule makes this halfway bearable, as the only other copy of Plasma is obtained after getting Aster to level 45, and by that point you already summoned Plasma 30 times. Aster is done, and hands the symbolical torch over to Hassleberry. Let's bust out Ultimate Tyranno. I keep it in the deck after... I kept it in the deck after unlocking Jimbo previously. Didn't need to play as Hassleberry since. By the way, he gets a lifetime skill for destroying Jaden with Ultimate Tyranno. That means this one monster is used for 3 separate missions, 2 character unlocks and 1 skill. Seeing it in my opening hand here is pretty nifty. This entails we are done quickly. Looking back at it, the Plasma, Tyranno and Armed Dragon missions flew by as they didn't take a lot of time. If we had been a little luckier with drawing Neos earlier than we actually did in the first duel, we would have been done sooner. But it is what it is, and I recognize the luck of getting Plasma, Tyranno and Armed Dragon as early as we did. So no complaints here. Sartorius, is he worth a character unlock ticket? Probably not. As usual though, I ain't judging you for nothing. And you are not judging me for getting Axel next. Jaden beats him with 1000 or less life points left, summons 5 warriors against him, goes for 2 fusion summons in 1 duel, and deals 3000 points of effect damage in a single duel against him. Also, we collect 5 fire monsters. No level requirements, that means Axel level 10 is plenty good. Me, no proper English. If I recall correctly, this is one I messed up by not clearing all in-duel missions at once. Thus, I think I had to duel him again. Most main deck monsters have been replaced with low-level warriors. We also play Elemental Hero Heat and Elemental Hero Lady Heat for the fusions as well as dealing effect damage. 3 hieroglyph lithographs are supposed to get us low in life points, but as usual don't blow those too soon as he deals effect damage of his own and could then beat you. I guess his monsters cap out at 1000 or so attack points, being weaker than your Elemental Hero Lady Heat. And that can stick on the field and deal effect damage. I want to keep my fusion stuff until his life points are damaged enough and I can get rid of Lady Heat. But for whatever reason I would not draw into her until very late in the duel. Too late for 3000 effect damage it seems. Another thing I like to do for my own personal fails compilation is attacking him by accident so that he has less than 3000 life points left, which he needs to lose by effect damage. Then my effect cannot add up to 3000 in that one duel. Additionally, my monster zones are full, so no more warriors. The solution is Gaia Saber, but I need Lady Heat for the fusion. To continue the duel and not win right now, I got rid of Lady Heat and tried to salvage the situation. To make myself clear, neither the missions nor Axel are the difficult part here. Getting unlucky with my draws and having a sort of inconsistent deck broke my neck. And you know what else? Me forgetting to put the fusion stuff in. I swear, man, I'm my own worst enemy. If you mess up like that, just forget about it and move on. There is not a point in beating yourself up over a small mistake. My mistake makes me all the more determined in the second duel. Besides unlocking Axel, for the sake of unlocking him, he has to almost single-handedly clear the missions for Supreme King Jaden once we hit stage 10. A lot of characters obtain lifetime skills by beating Jaden up a certain way, and Axel obliterates him with volcanic doomfire once I go for that mission. I always liked volcanics. When they came out, I was on a burn deck. One of a burn deck's weaknesses was that it was not aggressive. It didn't need to be. Volcanics combined effect damage with actual attack stats. I also thought that Axel was pretty cool, which I still think. Back in the day, single card purchases via internet were not as big as they are now, and nobody in school had any volcanics to trade for. Ever since then, I moved on to other decks, but I'll never forget how much I wanted a volcanic deck. The previously mentioned burn deck still exists in my closet, but it has fallen from grace ever so slightly. I moved on to different decks which are also more fun to play against. None of them are truly competitive though. I guess I would not even win a locals with any of them. That's okay, as I have always been more of a casual player and have a blast with any of my decks anytime I duel. Which does not happen that often anymore. If you wait on purchasing the Hero Rising structure deck until you hit stage 6 in GX World, you will collect 5 fire monsters from that structure deck alone. Besides that, you can level up Soulburner or some other characters. The next character is Jesse. Jaden summons Winged Koribo and Elemental Hero Neos against him at level 30 before winning. We destroy 7 monsters in one duel against him, and Maximilian Pegasus wins a duel against Jesse. We had the choice of going for Jesse or Syrus next. Both are needed for Zane, who unlocks Yubel, who then is needed for Jaden Yubel. For tactical reasons, I prioritized Jesse. It also helps that he was a world spawn. Unlike Syrus, Jesse sort of needs to level up, and the earlier I have him, the earlier I can pump XP into him, finishing the GX unlocks earlier as well. But why level him up in the first place? Jesse has to summon Rainbow Dragon against Zane at some point. By getting Crystal Boy to 11, we get a guaranteed copy of every single Crystal Beast monster without using tickets. Therefore, level 11 is the goal for that. However, he is not unlocked yet. Winged Koribo and Neos are obtained after unlocking GX World and Jaden as the starting character. Put them in your deck, summon them, and win. If you prolong the duel for a while, you can destroy 7 of Jesse's monsters in that duel as well. That just leaves Peggy versus Jesse, so back into DM world. No more special objectives, just win. So this should be a fast one. You could be a funny fella and summon the ritual monster Relinquished to work towards 2 of Peggy's lifetime skills, but you don't need to do that. Since Pegasus requires stage 13 and Jesse's missions don't appear until GX stage 6, you need to be a little further in the game than for a character like Scott or Luke. For my method, add the leveling up, and you'll notice that Zane and especially Yubel are among the final characters in this world. The actual last one is Blair though, as she requires Alexis, and Alexis is a stage 11 character, but we'll discuss their missions later. While we're getting Jesse, there's one thing I'd like to mention briefly. We will be using a lifetime skill on Jesse to help summon Rainbow Dragon against Zane. That skill's name is Transcendent Crystals, and you can obtain it by simply beating Jaden as Jesse. So we level Jesse up, and then I make sure to have Jaden be one of my opponents. The Jesse unlock went fine, by the way. 2 duels, which is the least amount we can have. Peggy versus him had to be a gate duel across the worlds, and the other duel did not require gate keys. So the final character for Zane's unlock is actually Syrus, which means we have to go for Syrus next. But luckily we don't have to level him up at all. So Syrus, Jaden summons Elemental Hero Thunder Giant against level 30 Syrus and wins, beats the Paradox Brothers at level 30 in a comeback, activates 3 back row in a single duel, and we win 3 with machines only. Thunder Giant is a problem, but we deal with it later. Let's get the cross-world comeback first. What I don't like about the level 30 Paradox deck is the trap Labyrinth of Nightmare, which swaps all face-up monsters' battle positions during the respective turn player's end phase. That makes dueling them a slow procedure. Here, I actually let them destroy my monster and swing in, as we want a comeback victory. And World Caratweight Champion can revive itself, so going to the graveyard is good. I see a notable absence of back row for us, but we should be dandy nonetheless. Also, they keep feeding their fusion materials to me, which I am not opposed to. Finishing with style and Neos in just a few minutes. As we won 3 duels with machines only for Crowler, that mission is ticked off already, because it's double, basically. Which leads us to Thunder Giant. It is a super rare drop from Jaden, but I wasn't lucky so far. Instead, we apply an emergency strategy. Going to Vrain's world, I leveled up Soul Burner to 10 and beyond to get a super ultra card ticket with a white card pool that contains Thunder Giant. So let's use that ticket to get one. I think that is the earliest ticket we can obtain. Most other super or ultra card tickets that you get from leveling up characters don't have Thunder Giant. Back in the day I would use a Train Your Koribo ticket, but there hasn't been one of those in a while. You also need the fusion materials. I got Sparkman as a drop, you can use a rare ticket on him. There's no Clayman yet, so I went with a fusion substitute like Mystical Sheep or Beast King of the Swarm. Clayman is an early 20s level up reward from Jaden, as well as Jaden Yubel, but the latter is not unlockable without Syrus. If you wait to unlock Supreme King Jaden, you get a Clayman in his starter deck. But that's a level 10 character, so you would have to wait for that. With all the preparations over, we are actually ready to get going. And as soon as this duel starts, I unfortunately messed up, because right now, or right when I was recording, I was using several accounts on this device and had swapped accounts, so the settings were changed. And yeah, so I have to change the settings back as soon as the duel starts when I notice it. And that's not really professional at all. And I'm sorry about that. Like all the dialogues and the changed point of view and toggle not on and stuff like that has to be changed real quick. Yeah, great. And the spell card weapon change that he's going to use in just a second will become a problem later, making this Truckroid a 2000 attacker. Then it runs over one of my guys and equips him to itself, becoming stronger. I just need a Thunder Giant man. Yeah, sure, Dark Rebellion will be able to change the tides, but only until stuff like Inverse Universe rolls around. For now, I just try to control the duel. Reinforcement of the army from a bundle could search me my Sparkman right away, but I don't have it. So I keep wasting time. Link monsters like Gaia Saber are unaffected by weapon change and Inverse Universe. If worst comes to worst, I'll summon it and should have an impenetrable wall. In case you're wondering, fusion substitutes can only replace one fusion material, so I cannot summon Thunder Giant with 2 sheep. Would be too easy, right? After Syrus, we will have 6 characters left to unlock in GX World, those being Zane, Yubel, Jaden Yubel, Supreme King Jaden, Alexis, and Blair. Out of those, I am only worried about Yubel, the rest should be fine. With 5Ds, I will be in a little bit of a predicament regarding Sherry LeBlanc. She'll be added to the gate at the end of July 2024, and while I'm editing these videos, that date has not passed yet. Since the 5Ds episode will not be out by then, I can record her unlock and edit it in between 2 other 5Ds characters. That's a problem for future me, while present me finally is about to summon Thunder Giant. Or summoned it already. The 3 spell trap activations in one duel as Jaden were done without thinking too hard. So we unlock Syrus in like the next minute. Thunder Giant can be added to your extra deck with a skill, so you don't need the card. However, you need a copy of each of the 5 main deck heroes, including Clayman, and I was not leveling Jaden up for that. I think the Soul Burner ticket is more accessible to you. I did not get a Psychroid after the Syrus duel, but I need one for the Zane unlock. So let's get one with a super rare card ticket. This will not be our last card ticket usage for character unlocks. More are coming soon. Psychroid is a machine fusion monster that requires 2 machines with the same name as materials and can attack your opponent directly. I have seen worse cards than this. Preparations done, let's get Zane. We fusion summon 3 times against him. Aster beats him at level 30 during Zane's own turn. Jaden gets 3000 attack points in. Syrus summons Psychroid and Jesse Rainbow Dragon. While Zane level 30 is in the world, I let Jaden swing in for massive damage with a single attack. Also, this clip specifically was recorded before I had Aster, Jesse and Syrus, so Jaden was the only one that could do anything to unlock Zane. There are several ways of going about this, like beefing up a monster like Neos or Dark Rebellion. You could let him attack into a 2+ Spike Shield Defender, and those are unstable, so I recommend using a strong monster from the start, like Obelisk or Slifer. Besides a strong monster, you should have a few more fellas on board to take out his weaklings, so that your big hammer can swing for game. Despite all of that, I Spike Shield Neos up when I saw an opportunity, but I had Obelisk in this deck as a backup. So this wasn't too bad. Aster now has to win during Zane's turn, but how? You can wait for him to attack and then use Spike Shield to win during his battle phase. However, the safer yet more time-consuming way is to let him run out of cards. Zane likes to thin out his deck with Cyber Network and occasionally sends cards from his deck with Power Wall to avoid huge damage. As long as we can keep him away from our life points, we got this. The Spike Shield strat is out of the window from the start because I had to open my 0 defense monsters. Only 2 of them in the deck, and those are the monsters I get. And then I had to use the Spike Shield to keep Carrot on the field. Being all set up, we need to wait a few more turns and win. This mission and the previous one were straightforward, as will the Psychroid and Fusion Summons mission be. Rainbow Dragon though, boy do I want to talk about it when the time comes. By the way, am I the only one wondering about him not having an extra deck? Cyber Dragons want an extra deck. They need it. But here, it just makes my life easier. And them giving him Cyber Laser Dragon is way funnier anyways. We need to play as Zane to unlock Yubel, probably as our next unlock. And unlike Jesse, Zane does not need a single level up. You notice that I'm once more running out of stuff to talk about because the duel is taking so long. I'll be in this situation a lot more later down the line. But we eventually will beat him and can maybe play an actual fun duel for a change. Fusion summon stuff like the Psychroid that I mentioned is not that bad. And Rainbow Dragon is the other one mission that is left. One is easier than the other and I let you guess. After this last one, I need a breather. Syrus is up next to kick his brother's butt, once we win this duel. The 3 fusion summons can be done against him in 3 separate duels, but that is highly inefficient. So we would like to do this in one duel, ideally against him at level 10. Syrus has to summon Psychroid, which happens to be a fusion monster itself. Having Syrus duel Zane at level 10 and perform 3 fusion summons, one of which being the Psychroid, is efficient and easy. The downside is that we have to more or less draw into specific fusion materials and polymerizations. Thus, it might be another long duel. One time when I tried to do this on a different account, Zane beat me because I would only draw into the weak machine monsters and no spell traps, while he summoned Proto Cyber Dragon and then gave it additional attack points. All of a sudden, I was facing a monster I could not beat. It is pretty much the only way to mess this up, but you can bet your mobile phone that I'm messing up whenever possible. My 3 fusion monsters of choice here are the mandatory Psychroid, his signature Super Weakroid Jumbo Drill, I love saying that name, and for the lack of machine fusions, the simple solution Flame Wingman. The deck mostly consists of low-level machines, a lot of which need to share names to make Psychroid possible. Drillroid, Submarineroid and Steamroid for Jumbo Drill, and the 2 materials for Flame Wingman. We're also playing 3 copies of Polymerization, obviously. The spike shields can beef my monsters up to compete with a beefed up monster of his to avoid the mess up I was talking about earlier. To be fair, against a level 10 opponent you have a lot of options and can do things your way. For us, after this duel, just a few seconds from now, Rainbow Dragon will be left. The mission for Zane does not prescribe a specific level, so we could duel him at level 10 again. However, a Yubel mission with the same content Jesse summons Rainbow Dragon against Zane has to be done against Zane at level 30. So I do this now and only have to summon it once in one duel instead of twice in 2 duels. The strategy is to control the field and use our skill to access Crystal Beast monsters. The skill Transcendent Crystals, as mentioned before, is obtained after Jesse wins a duel against Jaden. Once per turn and twice per duel, we can discard 1, 2 or 3 cards to place the same number of Crystal Beasts in our spell trap zone. That is quite helpful because we would only have to summon 1 Crystal Beast monster and wait for 3 more, which we discard for the skill to play the remaining 3 from the deck. With all 7 Crystal Beasts on the field and or in the graveyard, we can bust out Rainbow Dragon. After that, we wouldn't even need to win. As we established before, level 30 Zane likes to thin out his deck. If we can do the same, we can keep up with his pace. Imagine a few of your Crystal Beasts are at the bottom of your deck with no way to access them. And then Zane runs out of cards. The skill makes it so much easier. One way this could go wrong is not having space in your spell trap zone to utilize the skill. Another way is if he plays Ruthless Denial to rip the 1 copy of Rainbow Dragon out of your hand. Gaia Saber, by the way, is a good option to keep him away from my life points, and it also cleared the Crystal Beasts from the field and got them to the graveyard. It has enough attack points to protect me. Also, Gaia Saber can clear the monsters away for the Rainbow Dragon in the final turn. After the duel, I'm going to show you this deck. For reference, it's nothing special, but it got the job done. The only necessary preparations were unlocking Jesse, getting the lifetime skill, and leveling Jesse up to 11 for a copy of every single Crystal Beast. If I can do it, you can do it better. On paper, this mission can look intimidating, but after doing it multiple times on different accounts, I can assure you that it's not overly difficult, as long as you are prepared and don't get horribly unlucky. Not only will this be enough to unlock Zane, but we also cleared one of Yubel's missions as a byproduct. And as promised, here's the deck. This whole duel at 3 times speed took about 2.5 minutes, surely felt longer. 1 of each Crystal Beast, Rainbow, 5 more monsters, 7 spell traps to protect me, a whatever extra deck, and the skill. Not a proper Crystal Beast deck, but it didn't need to be. I was able to clear the mission. 5 characters left in this world: Yubel, Jaden Yubel, Supreme King Jaden, Alexis, and Blair. So the next one that I want to unlock is actually Yubel. Jaden comebacks Yubel, Jesse summons Rainbow Dragon against level 30 Zane, Zane summons Tyranno Dragon against level 30 Jesse, Jaden fusion summons twice in one duel against level 30 Yubel, and he summons Neos 3 times in one duel against Yubel at level 30. The Rainbow mission has been cleared already, and you could combine both missions of Jaden dueling Yubel at level 30. However, I would not recommend that. Anyways, let's start with the Cyberend Dragon. Preparations? Just unlock Zane. No special cards or skills required, but Floodgate helps. Floodgate Trap Hole, that is. Cyberend needs 3 Cyber Dragons as fusion materials, and none of them can be replaced by a fusion substitute like Mystical Sheep. We don't have a single copy of Cydra, so how? We are using the 3 Proto Cyber Dragons from his starter deck. Their names become Cyber Dragon while on the field. Of course, we have to protect them since they only have like 1100 attack points. The plan is to summon a Vacuum Cleaner into an extra monster zone and keep the main monster zones empty. We take a few of his life points so that Cyberend's piercing damage will finish him off. Any monster he summons in face-up attack is changed face-down with Floodgate Trap Hole and can stick around to clog up his field, preventing him from summoning monsters that could run over Proto. A Floodgate Trap Hold monster cannot change its battle position, so we transform his field into a wasteland of uselessness. Any monster he manually sets has to go, unless we have access to a copy of Floodgate at that point in time. Playing Swords of Revealing Light would not help us, as we would change the floodgated monsters into face-up defense. They still can't attack then, but I want to keep them face down. So we need all 3 copies of Proto Cyber Dragon, and then we are good to go. Any of my monsters in the hand are useless by this point. I would in fact ruin everything for myself by summoning anything other than Proto. What made me nervous was the fact that he had less cards than me, and if Proto was at the very bottom of my deck, I just wasted a lot of time and had to duel him again, but luckily this wasn't the case. Here's the deck. With Different Dimension Capsule I can search anything to get it out of my deck, increasing my odds of drawing what I need, and I can even search the Proto Cyber Dragons and Polymerization. I understand that you don't necessarily have access to Floodgate Trap Hole, as that is a card I got from the friend code campaign and you maybe don't have any friend code you could enter. So just use what you have, like World Legacy Clash or Wall of Destruction, anything you have, it works fine. Or it should work fine. We are dueling level 30 Yubel right now and are on our way to a comeback victory. Since you could get this against them at level 10, the comeback alone would be a waste in this level 30 duel. Summoning Neos 3 times or fusion summoning twice in this duel are possible objectives. Besides that, Yubel likes to swing their Grave Squirmer into your monsters, ruining your comeback plans. Maybe you can still do that. In the meantime, we summon Elemental Hero Neos 3 times with just 1 copy. But how? First, you could wait on the Supreme King unlock for a second copy of Neos, or you break the game in half. Don't spend a UR ticket on more copies of Neos, please. We summon it once, link it off or let it get destroyed, then revive it with Monster Reborn, which is a lifetime card you should have at this point. We get Neos into the graveyard once more and activate the spell card A Feather of the Phoenix. That one you get from Rio Castle's starter deck after unlocking her in Zexal World. By discarding one, you can place Neos from your graveyard on top of your deck, summoning it next turn. To sum up, you need 1 Neos, Monster Reborn and A Feather of the Phoenix. The skill Neos Tribute also helps, letting you summon it with just 1 tribute. The dangers are the opponent's monster Rigorous Reaver taking one of the 3 cards out of your hand, as well as Yubel not letting you keep tribute material. But Stardust Dragon and Stardust Spark Dragon work against that. And a little bit of luck helps with Rigorous Reaver. By keeping several cards in your hand, you can discard one you don't need because you choose the discard. Also, wait for Monster Reborn before activating a Feather, as Feather would make you wait an additional turn and maybe Yubel runs out of cards until then. I would not combine the Neos mission with the Fusion mission, as that makes the deck unstable and, worst case scenario, I wouldn't get any mission done. Those that want too much at once need to split their concentration and end up failing. I have been there and gladly take on 1 mission at a time if it gets me places. Also, it's way less stressful and all the more fun. Having said all that, I would seriously consider using a character unlock ticket on Yubel, as most of these missions require luck and setup. This time I didn't do it because I want to show you how I clear every single unlock mission for every single character. After all, I want the series to be sort of a guideline and a help for new players who are more interested in unlocking stuff than playing competitively. On this account I had like 11 character unlock tickets and there are over 100 characters in the game. You can't use a ticket on every single one of them. And these missions are by no means impossible, which I also hope to demonstrate. So this is the Fusions duel. We got the materials and have to wait for polymerization. I don't want to put any of the materials on the field because once they are gone, I cannot fusion summon anymore. Luckily, drawing into another monster here. And with Angel Trumpeter, I can make Stardust Dragon a hard counter to level 30 Yubel's strategy. Minus Rigorous Reaver, which can weaken Stardust. We are on our comeback path again. when we look at our life points, but I'm not pushing it. You can duel against level 10 Yubel and not summon a monster during your first turn. Then you build your board and set up a comeback victory. That's the easiest Yubel mission. Vigorous Reaver hit a field and I floodgated hit, which is good and bad. It's bad because now their flip effect is basically live, taking one of my cards. It's good because they would have swung in to weaken Stardust, ruining the life point count in the process. And with Fusion Recovery, the mission is as good as done. We now need to clear the field and win. Winning is optional though, unless we are actually going for the comeback. And why shouldn't we do that? Honestly, if you can win the duel, just win the duel and don't mess around here. So this time the Yubel unlock was easy. The Rainbow Dragon duel counted for Zane and Yubel already. Then we had the Cyber End Dragon, 3 Neos and a 4th duel for the fusions and a comeback. That makes 3 duels after Zane's unlock. Not the most efficient, but I am okay with it. 4 characters remain. And one of them surely is Supreme King Jaden. We beat him with Volcanic Doomfire, have Axel win against him with low life points and inflict 1500 points of effect damage to him in one duel. Jaden wins 3 duels with Darks and Fiends only. Since most Fiends are Dark monsters, we can combine both of these missions easily, and I am in fact going to show these. My opponents of choice are low-level standard duelists. The spells and traps are the same as always, but all main deck monsters have been replaced with low-level Dark Fiends, and I'm not utilizing an extra deck. One of the Quattro missions in Zexal World needs Reginald to win with water monsters only. If you even have non-water monsters in your main or extra deck, the mission will not be completed, even if you only summon water monsters. That is the only instance of this that I'm aware of. From that mission I got the habit to drop my extra deck for those types of missions. We just won the first, so 2 are remaining. They finally added Sherry to the gate and I can implement her unlock in the next video. There is one thing fueling my rage though. We have to beat her 3 times at level 30, which is a little excessive. I'm no longer worried about gate keys and the difficulty is fine for the most part. But why 3 duels when 1 would have been enough? They have been giving us this sort of mission for a lot of characters in the past. The only other 3-win dude I recall right now is Mizar, but Nail, Mimi, Ghost Gal and Roa have to be beaten at level 30 once. Why could this not have been the case for Mizar and Sherry? Then again, Varys and Kali Carmine had to be destroyed 3 times at level 30 with sort of a twist. I guess that can be worse. Not a fan though. The other Sherry missions are okay. It is possible to unlock her in 5 duels. Enough of that, as the Sherry unlock belongs in the 5Ds video. With her in the game, currently 4 characters remain event exclusive as of now. Dennis, Spectre, Asana and Dumon. Previously I was talking about Monster Reborn and that you should have it at this point. Once you hit stage 4 in DM World, the lifetimes list is open. Destroy 30 monsters in total and the spell is yours. That can be done in less than an hour if you're not even trying. After all the stage ups and unlocks, there's no way you don't have it when working on a Yubel mission. Mirror Force might take a little longer to get, which I'm going to explain in a few minutes. 3 Supreme King missions remain, and those can be done in a single duel, if you're not a dum-dum like me and mess up. As we don't own a Volcanic Doomfire, we rely on Axel's starting skill. No level requirements, so we can challenge him at level 10. The first card we need is the continuous spell card Blaze Accelerator. We activate it. In our next turn, the skill card can add another continuous spell from deck to hand, try Blaze Accelerator. We activate it by sending Blaze Accelerator to the graveyard. In our next turn, the skill can add Volcanic Doomfire from deck to hand. We summon it by getting rid of Tri-Blaze Accelerator. After that, we can beat him at any time. The skill only adds that stuff in the next turn after the card was activated. If you don't use the skill's effect next turn, you missed your chance. I play Different Dimension Capsule to search for Blaze Accelerator as the skill turns the deck into a 25 card pile. We summon Lady Heat for the 1500 points of effect damage and he cannot beat 1300 attack with his usual stuff. Once he summons an evil hero Malicious Edge, I have to react as that one is stronger. We also play Hieroglyph Lithograph like always when trying to get our own life points low. We don't activate it just yet because we are defenseless when he summons another Malicious Edge and swings into Lady Heat. We activate our spell cards when we're about to finish him off. You may be wondering about Stardust Spark Dragon. It can prevent the destruction of one of my monsters by Malicious Edge. You may give me a misplay for not taking an attack during the first or I guess second turn to lower my life points, which would remove the need for all 3 copies of Hieroglyph Lithograph, as the deck has more cards in it and we might not get all copies before Supreme runs out of cards. But I still have a Volcanic Shell that I could ram into one of his monsters to lower my life points. The duel needs to go on for a while as we try to clear 3 separate missions at once. If you were to go for one at a time, you likely had 3 shorter duels. The question then is, if all of them combined go by faster than my single duel. I'd say no, as you have to go through a few lines of text, the duel start animation and the win screen, not to forget the duel assessment screen, 3 times. And when you're unlucky, you need to drag one of those duels out for 15 or more turns anyways. And I didn't even mention the triple use of gate keys. Also, I personally feel like a Chad when getting several missions done in one duel. When we count the 3 Dark Fiend duels, we unlocked Supreme King in 4 duels total, with just 1 gate duel against a level 10 opponent. Not too shabby. Despite the one duel taking forever, the unlock itself was quick overall. We are getting closer to finishing the GX characters. And the next one is Jaden Yubel. Yubel fusion summons against level 30 Jaden, summons Terra Incarnate and Ultimate Nightmare. We gain 1900 life points in one duel against Yubel and activate 5 spells in a single duel. That sounds like 2 duels in total, but we'll see about that. The 2 missions against Yubel can be done in one, obviously. The rest might be split in 2 more. We need a copy of Yubel Terra Incarnate and Yubel the Ultimate Nightmare. No drops after duels against Yubel, so I terminate 2 ultra rare tickets instead. Might even use a third one to grab a Spark Breaker, a surefire way to destroy my own Yubel monsters. It also comes in handy for some lifetime skills later. My preferred way of destroying the Yubels would have been the spell card Exile of the Wicked, which is a rare drop from Teia and DSOD Teia, but I didn't get one. The trap Shooting Star was obtained from Future Horizon and can destroy 1 card on the field if there is a face-up Stardust named monster. This is how I'm going to do that. We have a single copy of base form Yubel from the starter deck, and you could spend UR tickets, but I make do with 1 copy. Also, Thunder Crash to destroy my stuff, a lot of protection and 1 set of fusion materials. I find it interesting that you don't have to duel Jaden Yubel at all. Most characters need to be beaten before we can unlock them. Jaden Yubel feels disconnected from his missions, which I find intriguing, as it is a special case. Right now I cannot recall a single character that works like this, and I'm the character unlocking guy. Okay, the starting characters in each world and DM World Mokuba. And, of course, all event-exclusive characters. I checked my list, and any other character has to be defeated at least once. Moku Bingo was a unique way of handling an unlock, and the starting characters shouldn't count as you cannot duel them before getting them. Also, wasn't the Jaden Yubel unlock part of Yubel's repeat unlock event, so that you could get both in one event? I vaguely remember something like this, although it does not matter to us as we clear the missions to unlock them years after that event. Stardust Spark Dragon gives a once per turn protection and makes the shooting stars activatable. It's a text that blocks Jaden's monsters and can run over them. The most part of this duel has to be spent waiting though. Waiting for the final fusion material and waiting for base form Yubel. I cannot blast the shooting stars too early as I need them for something else to destroy base form and incarnate. Summoning Nightmare wouldn't be a problem in a deck dedicated to doing that, but we're going up against a level 30 opponent, need to fusion summon, and do not have the cards to make a working Yubel deck. Their skill, My Name is Yubel, has also not been obtained yet. Once I'm done with unlocking characters, I go for lifetime skills. One of them is given to us after we summoned Ultimate Nightmare 10 times in total, which then will not be an issue anymore. And of course, I get the other 2 forms before drawing into base form Yubel. Stuff like that happens more often than it should in Duel Links. That's unlucky, but we're still able to do things. Earlier today I unlocked Cherry and needed to duel her 3 times at level 30. I opened 2 of those duels with only monsters and not a single back row card. She would summon Centaur Mina both times to put my back against the wall. I get that this can happen, but you have to be quite unlucky to have it happen to you twice in a row. Yeah, sure, deck building, whatever. But come on, game. I'm playing 7 spell trap cards. Give me at least one of them. Other times my opening hand consists of spells and traps alone, with no monster in sight. We accomplished what we set out to do, but there is one extra little bonus achievement on the horizon. If Yubel defeats Jaden with Ultimate Nightmare's effect, we get a lifetime skill. At this point, we might as well do it. Those were the difficult Jaden Yubel missions, now for some easy ones. Jaden will gain 1900 life points in one duel against Yubel, and as most of these healing cards are spells, it should be possible to activate 5 spells in this duel, thus clearing the remaining 2 missions. However, level 10 Yubel can ruin your day by activating Allure of Darkness 3 times, decreasing their deck size and running out of cards before you're done. We keep monsters in our hand to shuffle them back with Reload, and hopefully draw healing spells instead of those monsters. Also, Reload happens to be a spell card. To help me with life point gain, I play Gift of the Mystical Elf, despite it not being a spell. At this point though, it is the best life point gainer I have. Meanwhile, one monster on our side on the field is plenty. Still waiting for some more cards to get max value off of Reload. I mean, it's a -1 after all. That means it sets you back in card advantage. Let's say you have 5 cards in hand plus Reload, making it 6. You activate Reload, shuffle 5 back and draw 5. And 5 is 6 -1. While Reload replaces cards in your hand, it does not replace itself. You have to decide individually if a card like Reload is worth playing for you. Or maybe play Jar of Greed, which replaces itself with a card that draws you, or Different Dimension Capsule, whose replacement is any desired card from your deck. Most people will tell you that cards like Reload are bad, but I find a use for a lot of presumably bad cards, and so can you. Like activating Gift of Greed when your opponent has a low deck, running them out of cards and winning you the duel during their next draw phase. Or in World Championship 2006 when I activate Offerings to the Doomed and use its detrimental effect to manipulate my deck size for a high duel score. Next character to unlock is Alexis. And she's actually the second to last one. We ritual summon 3 times, beat her at level 20 and collect 5 water monsters. This should be a fast one. The ritual summons can be done against any opponent in any world, and I'm not sure if I should show them. The water monsters can be collected with card tickets, so not a big deal. Instead, I show you how I beat Alexis at level 20. To me, the most annoying card she plays is Cyber 2/2, which can attack me for 1000 each time. Also Cyber Blader exists. Even at level 20, things can be rough. Having said that, we should be fine. One time I had not unlocked Scud yet when getting the missions for Alexis. I let her be and took him on, including the ritual summons for him. When I returned to GX World sometime later, I was surprised that the ritual summon mission had been cleared already. When you at this point summon Relinquished 4 times with Pegasus, you get 2 lifetime skills and clear the ritual summon mission for Alexis. Invest some card tickets or go into something like Shark Fang to collect 5 water monsters and you unlocked Alexis. We are going into Shark Fang this time, fishing for Stratos and some other neat cards besides the water attributes. Also still half-price gem sale, which was another reason I wanted to open some packs. You see that our gem count is maxed out, and the gems in our gift box disappear eventually. We got plenty of water monsters once we open the box. We are drowning in them. Showing you the 3 ritual summons would take another 5 minutes or so at 3 times speed, and I don't think I should waste your time. And I think we already had a few fusion summons. Not fusion summons, yeah, ritual summons. We had a few ritual summons that I showed you previously and before, so this should not be a big deal. The video is quite long already and we're not even done with all of the characters. I just assume you know how to ritual summon. You watched the DSOD episode, right? The final one to unlock here in GX World is Blair. Jaden defeats level 30 Blair in 6 turns, destroys anyone with Flame Wingman. Chazz beats Blair with Ojama Yellow in his deck, and Alexis defeats Blair at level 30 after having dealt 2000 points of effect damage at once. I don't think I'm showing the Flame Wingman mission as you've seen it summon against Crowler. Just imagining it reducing a standard duelist's life points to 0. Tell you what, if you guys really want to see stuff like that and or some other things I haven't been showing, write comments and I'll make sure to upload clips simulating what I skipped over. This includes something like winning 3 5D duels with winged beasts only for the Crow mission, and the likes. I mean, while I want you to see what I've been doing to unlock all those characters, I feel like certain things don't add to the experience or the same things have to be repeated several times. Do you want to watch a character beating up easy standard duelists several times with the exact same deck? Sometimes standard duelists are using the same deck among them, so you're watching the exact same duel 3 times. Doesn't sound that great. Or Chazz beating level 10 Blair with Ojama Yellow in deck. That's not something you need a guy for, which is the reason I dropped this one as well. We are now getting an additional piece for the Vessel Farm, a spell card called Anti-Magic Arrows. This quick play spell is activated in the final battle phase and freezes back row for the rest of the turn, allowing Vessel to swing in carefree like George of the Jungle. And yes, the Vessel Farm is my way of inflicting huge chunks of effect damage at once. You don't need a full farm deck and you probably shouldn't use one against a level 30 opponent. You need Vessel, 1 Union attack and ideally anti-magic arrows. Stop Defense also helps, but the rest can be your regular deck. The Vessel Farm is another one of those things I don't need to show all the time. For Crows and Yummy Merrick's missions we had to inflict 50,000 points of effect damage. Do you want to watch the Vessel Farm 5 times in a row? Do you? Anyway, enough of this. With Stop Defense we can change a defender on Blair's field into attack and run over it with a big vessel. Due to one of Union Attack's downsides, only the buffed monster is allowed to attack that turn. But if Blair's monsters are in defense, Vessel won't deal damage. That's why I'm playing Stop Defense. The farm itself is fairly simple and works the same way every time. You build a board and wait. When you are ready, summon Gravekeeper's Vessel, activate Union Attack on it, and enter the battle phase. Activate anti-magic arrows to be safe and let Vessel hit them for effect damage. Not exactly rocket science. Against Blair, Stop Defense might not be needed because sometimes she does not play a monster at all or has Maiden in Love in attack position. It then is immune to battle destruction, but it only has 400 attack points. So while Stop Defense is not crucial, I have it just in case. If you have a super rare dream ticket, you can spend it on number 70, Malevolent Sin, summon it and use its effect to banish Blair's monster and give Vessel a clean shot. Number 70 also has the benefit of getting stronger after each attack, so by the time Vessel hits the field, number 70 can be quite buff. And all of its attack points go to Vessel. Number 70, in my opinion, is a worthwhile investment, especially in the beginning of your account's lifespan, as it really helps. Give it a try and you see its awesomeness at work. XYZ summon for the Exodex Lord, Dark for Aster's Hidden, Banishes for Scud's Hidden, inflicts piercing with Crossword Beetle, can detach World Carrotway Champion to set up Carrot's special summon, gets stronger after each attack, and can be used for high battle damage missions. I normally spend a glossy ticket on it to get a glossy bonus each time. On this account I don't have number 70 though, because it's simply not needed. It's a nice card to have, but you don't depend on it. And with Blair unlocked, I think I should show you the character wheel of 5D's, not 5D's World, dummy, GX World, to show that we got all of them. And with this, thank you so much for watching, people. See you in the next video, which of course is the 5D's video.